Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Nolita Miller, and I am so excited to host a conversation with some of our talented Black professionals from the Center for Creative Leadership. This conversation is an initiative of the Black Professionals ERG, and it's designed to be useful for both other young Black professionals, possibly managers and organizations that are interested in better supporting young Black professionals at their organizations. Now, I do have to warn you, this conversation may be filled with laughter, energy, and excitement. The panelists had a meeting with me prior to today and stated that they did not want to be a part of a dull and dry LinkedIn session. So we have to deliver. So I just wanted to warn you about the excitement and the energy that you're about to experience. Now, let's meet each one of the panelists. Michael, let's start with you. Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Michael Clinton. I have the pleasure of serving as the corporate relations partner within Societal Impact here at CCL. I've been here a short time, 6 months. Literally yesterday made it 6 months that I was here, and excited to have this conversation today.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Jaquin, can we hear from you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jaquin Miller, and I have been here at the Center for Creative Leadership for over a year and a half now. I am a client success specialist, and I am also a recent grad of Winston-Salem State University, and I majored in communications.
Thank you. Devondra, it's over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Devondra Hughes. I am a senior project manager on the development team within the Societal Impact Group. I have been at CCL for, it has been 9 months now. And prior to joining CCL, I've worked in sales, more recently in higher education at a HBCU.
Well, some of you are probably wondering why they let a seasoned professional on this call because I have the privilege of being at the Center for Creative Leadership for 23 years. And I'm so excited that they allowed an older person to be a part of this conversation and discussion. So let's just jump into the discussion. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. We know that we have a representative of young Black professionals, and they cannot say that they are speaking for all Black young professionals. So we want to make that clear. This is their perspective, and these are their viewpoints. And Devondra, I want to come to you first. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges you feel young Black professionals are facing today?
Yeah, I'll pinpoint one challenge that I see as a young Black professional, and that would be underrepresentation in leadership roles, more specifically senior leadership positions. In my opinion, I feel as though when you have a seat at the table, it's crucial to the success of systematic inclusivity. And those in the senior leadership roles, that's the ones that are making the decisions on behalf of the organization. So when we don't have an opportunity to give input or just simply join in the conversation, I feel like we become like a wasted asset. And it's one thing for us to talk amongst our peers about the inequities in the workforce, but when we can all come together and share different ideas and opinions while working toward a common goal, then we create greater impact and lasting change.
Wow, thank you for that, Devondra. Jaquin, what are your thoughts?
So that is a great point, Devondra. I also wrote down knowing how to use your voice and when to use it, and also building relationships with team members because of my age. So quick story time. I promise it's going to be quick. One of my colleagues from an old team that I used to work on was super excited about this concert she was going to, and everyone on my team knew who she was talking about except me. So I was sitting there like, who are y'all talking about? I listen to Lil Baby. I don't know who this is.
Little Baby. So I told you the laughter is coming because I'm sitting here thinking, do I know Little Baby? Okay. Michael, what are some of the challenges that you feel young Black professionals are facing today?
Yeah, I would say kind of 2 points: the lack of guidance and the lack of connection points. So I'm a huge advocate for mentorship, sponsorship, allyship, any of those things. But I think sometimes we don't have the appropriate guidance, especially when we join a new organization, to really navigate that organization and be successful there. There's so many politics, there's so many nuances and culture that we have to learn, that I think having that guidance or that coach to help you through that will really elevate the opportunities for specifically Black young professionals.
Yes, thank you for that. Audience, we want your participation as well. Please comment. What are some of the challenges young Black professionals that you are experiencing, or young professionals in general? What are some of the challenges that you are experiencing? And if you don't classify yourself as a young professional, what have you heard that some of the challenges young professionals may face? Now, the panelist has just described for you some of the biggest challenges that they may face. Michael, I want to ask you a specific question. When you think about these challenges, do you think, as young Black professionals, some would assume that these challenges are specific to only young Black professionals as well? But do you think these challenges that we shared and others will affect other young professionals regardless of their race?
Absolutely. And I think it actually affects everyone. So no matter whether you classify yourself as a young professional or not, I think, again, lack of guidance and lack of connections can really impact how you succeed in an organization. Again, I really believe that that's one of the key factors that can help really nurture a relationship and nurture a belonging point for that individual to that organization, no matter, again, where you are, wherever you see yourself, no matter your race, color, creed, or whatever. Getting guidance and getting that connection point helps you feel like you belong in that organization.
Yes, Michael, great point. And I have to emphasize, it doesn't matter your age. As I sit here listening to the challenges that these young professionals are experiencing, I'm thinking sometimes I still have those same challenges. And I see one of the comments that Shauna James mentioned, having a seat at the table, but still not having that voice. So, as you listen to this LinkedIn Live conversation, I want you to internalize what these young professionals are sharing with you and realize that it's not really about your age. Some of us experience some of these challenges as well. Now, as we think about these challenges, let's discuss, how do you overcome? What is helping you overcome these challenges? You can share what you do to assist you in overcoming. And if possible, what advice would you offer someone facing some of these challenges? Jaquin, let's start with you.
That was a great question, Nolita. So the advice that I can give someone would be to find someone that you trust within your organization. So I found someone who could get the raw and uncut Jaquin, someone who had created a safe space for me that I feel comfortable showing them a vulnerable side of myself. For example, like you know, Lita, I come to you all the time. Rose Richmond and Shannon Allen, those are just some individuals I just like to shout out because they created that safe space for me.
Now, Jaquin, I have to ask you a follow-up question. Does the individual have to be older, or could they be in your same age range?
Great question. I personally would like to go to someone a little more older than I am, because I feel that they have a little bit more wisdom. They have a little bit more um, experience within the issue that I may be going through. They may have gone through it themselves. So, not shooting down the young professionals at this time. I'm not, but I do feel that you should go to someone just a little bit older than you.
Thank you for your perspective. Michael, what has assisted you in taking on these challenges and any advice that you would give?
Yeah. I think the ability to ask questions and like Jaquin, have that safe or brave space to be as vulnerable as you can, where you don't have to put on a facade or worry about your language. You can be raw, uncut in that. So really connecting with those people. I think for me, being new to CCL, joining like the Black ERG, and having that space to really see the seasoned professionals who have been here for a while. But even if they aren't what we would consider seasoned, but they've been here a while, they can help you navigate through the systems, know who to talk to, who to chat with, who's going to be the best person to do this or that. So that's how I've overcome it, and I think people could overcome by connecting with organizations that are there within your proper organization.
Michael, I just have Devondra, I'm coming to you, but Michael, I just have to point out that word seasoned. More and more in organizations now, individuals are not using the word older, they're using the word seasoned. And I have to get used to that, but I understand. But I have to get to the used to the word seasoned. Devondra, let me hear from you.
I totally agree with Jaquin and Michael as far as building the solid professional network. For me personally, that has had a positive impact on the success and advancement of my career journey. And what I would recommend is to just network. Like Michael said, when you build that solid network, you open the door to more opportunities. You got stronger business connections, fresh ideas. It's just so many benefits, and it helps you build your confidence because you'll feel comfortable talking to different types of people, all with different types of ideas. So
Yes, so thank you. As a seasoned employee at the Center for Creative Leadership, one of the things that I pride myself in is asking for advice. Now, I have to say, as Devondra, Jaquin, and Michael shared with us, getting advice from others is very helpful. As we think about Black History Month, we're celebrating Black History Month now. There are others that have gone before us who have followed this path, who have gone through this path. And I don't know about you, but if they can tell me about the pitfalls, if they can warn me of the holes and all of that, I want to be warned. Tell me, because I don't want to have to go through some of the struggles that other individuals. Now, struggles are a part of it, but the amount of things that I can avoid,
Right.
please let me know. Now, when we think about, I've heard during this conversation a lot about um, evolvement, being included. And Michael also talked about our Black Professionals Employee Resource Group at the Center for Creative Leadership. So, one of the questions that one of our viewers are asking, panelists, I would like to ask you specifically, if you can think of how has the Black Professionals ERG assisted you in your journey at the Center for Creative Leadership? Would anyone like to address that question?
I'll go. I really enjoy the Black Professionals ERG, and I'm grateful that at CCL we have an array of ERGs such as this one that we can actually participate in because it allows us to have that safe space to connect. We're able to collaborate, and you just feel like you have a sense of belonging with colleagues of a common identity. So that's why I really enjoy the Black Professionals ERG.
Yes. Anyone else want to comment on that?
I can. I enjoy the social aspects, like when we all get together and really have dinners and people make wonderful cakes. I won't drop names, but people with wonderful cakes that we get to partake in, and we really get to just enjoy each other. Not necessarily being on and working and things like that, but really get to learn and see what commonalities we have beyond just working at CCL.
Yes, thank you for that. Um, as you think about employee resource groups, as Devondra stated, at the Center for Creative Leadership, we have a variety of those. And it goes back to your social identity. How do you identify? And I go, as Michael stated, I feel comfortable. I'm a part of a couple of the ERGs at the Center for Creative Leadership. Just having that sense of belonging. And I have to be honest, seeing someone that looks like you, it makes me feel comfortable having a conversation with individuals who may have faced the same challenges that you have faced. Now, I see several questions coming in, and I want to address one of those questions to our panelists, and I'll give you a few seconds to think about this. What makes you feel included or like you belong? And you can be as specific as CCL. How has CCL made you feel included and made you feel as though you belong?
I would say feeling, because at CCL, I feel as though we're valued and we're heard. And a lot of times, you'll have senior leadership that will reach out and they want your perspective on ideas, on strategies, and the fact that they're actually reaching out to, I won't say like the little people, but just not the senior leadership team. They want to hear from us, so it makes me feel like, okay, my opinion means something. I belong here.
Yes, thank you, Devondra. Let me hear from some others of you. How has CCL made you feel included?
I would like to speak about my global marketing's communications group. So we had a great retreat, and I was able to meet everyone from the executive leadership team down to every one of my colleagues, and I had a great time. They incorporated all kinds of activities. We went to the Civil Rights Museum. They played all types of music, different genres. So
Yes,
it wasn't that we weren't in the room. They acknowledged that we were in the room. And I have a difficult name to pronounce. And I just have to shout out everyone on my team. They take the time to get to know who I am and how to pronounce that my name. So that's a big thing to me. So that makes me feel like I have a belonging when you know how to say my name and when I'm acknowledged. Yeah.
yes. Michael, I think you were going to share.
Yeah, for me, especially being a new employee to CCL, it's been great to, although being new, being sought out for what I have done. I was in higher ed for about 9 years, so a lot of that experience kind of overlaps with what I do. So having my boss Courtney Gentry asked me specifically, how do you feel about this? Read through this, let me see. And then even Brooke Wingate, who's over the development team, even having the opportunity to work with Lynn Fit Cooper, who is our chief, and just having opportunities to really engage with them, and really they come and say, I want to learn from you. I want to hear the innovative ideas that you have, how we can incorporate that, and if we can't, know that you're heard. So that's what's been great for me. Just 6 months in, having that level of conversation with those leaders have been incredible and imperative on my growth here and making me feel like I belong and that I can actually grow beyond even the current role that I'm in. If I wanted to do something else, they're going to support me and push me to that. So that's what's been great for me and make me feel like I belong here.
Thank you all for that. As we think about organization, as we think about leadership, as we think about employees within our organization, diversity is a key word. We're hearing a lot about diversity, and some would say that diversity is just about race. I want to, and I say, I hear the diversity, race is a part of diversity, But what about age? That diversity in age. Now, we may have some HR representatives on here. I know we can't ask how old you are and all of that. However, how can we have that diversity of thought? So when you think about that age group, as Michael stated, asking everyone, what do you think about this? What are your perspectives? And Jaquin stated, if you're having a gathering, why not play all music? Now, I don't know about Lil Baby, but maybe play all types of music. And that will start conversations about who is this artist? Who are you listening to? Now, thank you for sharing about how you've received support and how you feel included. Devondra, I want to ask you a different type question. What are some ways that managers and organizations might be unintentionally unsupportive to young Black professionals or young professionals in general?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like organizations, they can be unintentionally unsupportive by just not providing equitable resources for all employees. Now, personally, I have not had to deal with this, but I have seen it happen amongst my colleagues. And I feel as though it leaves them feeling either left out in some cases, or in other cases, you're seen as the token. And the ultimate goal, that is not for one group or race to be put on a pedestal, but it's rather for us all to feel included with those same fair and equitable opportunities for everyone.
Thank you. Up. I see Michael doing this. Michael, I'm coming to you. As a seasoned professional, what does this mean?
That's just like, yeah, Devondra, I agree. Like we own it. That's what that means.
Okay, so for you seasoned professionals that are listening, if you're in a meeting and you see the snapping of fingers, it's not to draw your attention. That means that they agree with you.
We're in alignment. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Michael, could you answer that question? Unintentionally, some ways that organizations may be unsupportive unintentionally to young Black professionals.
I believe not focusing on leadership development really can be unintentional when you're looking at someone just for what they can provide you, but not really intending to grow them or help them reach that next piece. I think that is what is unintentional with many organizations. Again, no matter of your race, I think Black professionals, of course, but any race, if you're not intentionally developing your younger professionals so that they can take over those roles, because somebody has to take over. So if you're not really grooming them and showing that you care about them, not only for what they can produce, but how they can grow, then you're not really supporting your young professionals in general, or your new professionals in general, because you always need that leadership development and teaching them how to have those better conversations, how to boundary span, things like that. Like, how are we going to really teach them to be the most impactful in what they're doing now so that we can grow them to be the most impactful later?
Yes, thank you. Jaquin, do you have anything to add?
Actually, Nolita, I do, but I would like to say I've never experienced my organization being unsupportive. As I stated before, CCL is my first big girl job. And I would like to say that I was unsupportive to myself.
Wow.
The organization wasn't unsupportive to me. I was unsupportive to myself, as in I was nervous to ask questions. I was scared to speak up and voice my opinion and give ideas. So CCL actually gave me a little TLC in supporting me.
Wow.
That's good, Jaquin. That's real good.
Yes. I don't want to say Rachel. I want you to comment. Have you ever felt in your organization, despite your age, where you were afraid to speak up? I'm raising my hand. Even after being at the center for over 23 years, I had to develop that sense of confidence, that sense of worth. And as the panelists have stated, I have had several leaders that have shared with me, no, leader, you deserve to be at the table. So thank you all for sharing that. Now, let's get into talking to the managers, talking to the organizations about what they can do. So, can you give us any tips or advice that you can give to managers and organizations to make young Black professionals, now keep in mind, young professionals in general, feel included? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll start off. I would say, I think first, just listening. If you listen to all your employees and actually listen to understand where they're coming from, then you're able to better like apply their needs. So I think just coming from a understanding point and listening and valuing what they have to say, and then from there applying that, I think that could be helpful.
Yes, thank you, Devondra. Who else would like to share?
For me, I really believe in the challenge and support model. So I think anything that you can do to really be intentional and challenging and supporting that person. Um, I would say, as a young professional, imposter syndrome is real. So we may be able, but I'm sure there may be something in the back of our mind is be like, why am I here? Should I really have gotten this job? Should I really be in this position? So you reinforcing that, hey, you belong here. We know you can do this. I know this may be a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to guide you and I'm going to help you through this. I think that is something that is critical for managers to be aware of, and also like Devondra said, just listening and listening, not to respond, but listening to hear. Sometimes your response may not be what is needed. It may just be that listening ear to see if this is a venting moment or is this something I really need to look at.
Yes.
Great.
Jaquin?
I would like to say, honestly, ask. As a manager, just go up and ask a question. How can I better support you? Do you feel supported? What ideas do you have for me to bring in the young professionals? Just ask. We're still human. All of us are human. It's okay to have a normal conversation on how you can support young professionals in your team or on your team. Sorry.
Yes. As a leader, as one of the leaders at the Center for Creative Leadership, one of the things that I pride CCL on is being that guide for individuals. And I have to shout out our young professionals ERG. We also have a young professionals ERG that has provided an excellent mentorship program for individuals at the Center for Creative Leadership. And in this mentorship program, it allows individuals to serve as guides, to serve as, I believe Jaquin said it earlier, that safe space where you can go and have that conversation. And Michael, you have specifically talked about mentorship as well. Could you share some more insight about how mentorship could be beneficial to young professionals?
Yeah. I believe that mentorship is key. Going into any organization, I know many organizations give individuals the opportunity to opt in. I think it should be mandatory for any new individual that for a year or at least 6 months to a year that they have a mentor or a guide. Let's say a guide, because for me, mentorship is personal. So once I built that relationship, then you become a mentor. You're not automatically a mentor the first time I talk to you. It's going to take some time. So just having a guide that helps you navigate the organization or helps you navigate certain situations, helps you navigate certain personalities, because we all know there's different personalities. So having someone there to really help you just navigate throughout your first 6 months to a year, I think is crucial and can definitely be, again, something that helps you solidify yourself within that company, and helps you feel like you belong, and helps you really feel more valued in how you navigate.
Yes, thank you. Our time is winding down. Time flies when you're having fun, but I have a couple of more questions for our panelists. But since we're on the subject of mentoring, I want you to shout out your mentor. You have a chance. You can't tell the whole story, but shout out the name of your mentor if you want to give them kudos right now. We'll start with you, Devondra. Name a mentor that you want to shout out.
I want to shout out Jamia Tinney, my former boss at North Carolina A&T.
Aggie Pride, Jaquin.
Shannon Allen. She is the brand activation manager here at the Center for Creative Leadership.
All right. Michael.
First, let me preface, I have a lot of mentors.
I know.
I have a lot. So this is going to be hard because some of them, depending on what I need, are great in all things. The one that has been here the longest and always offers me support is Miss Emma Sellers. So I want to shout her out. She started mentoring me in 2009, and it has really helped push me throughout my time. So there's a lot others. I love you all, but yes. I'm going to shout out Emma Sellers.
So Michael is saying if you are on his mentorship panel group, he's calling out one. And I would like to call out a couple of my mentors as well. And I said one, but since I'm the host, I'll break the rule. Catherine Papa and Linfick Cooper and Rose Richmond. These women have been instrumental in my success. And they have been that sounding board for me. Now, as we think about this conversation, I want to hear from each one of you. And I want to be intentional in asking you this question because I want you to share with us, if you could go back and share advice with yourself at the beginning of your career, what would you say to yourself? Let's start with you, Jaquin.
So I would like to start off with this thought that I heard in a podcast. And it says, don't boo yourself off the stage before you get started. Wow. So I would like to tell myself, stop overthinking and trust yourself. If you were qualified to be at the table, stop dismissing yourself from the table. You're meant to be there.
Okay, so I think this is a moment where we're all snapping the fingers. Yes.
Thank you.
Michael.
Yeah, so I would tell myself, don't be afraid to network and don't be afraid to ask questions. I do that a lot now, but I haven't always been like that. And another thing for me would be intentionality and transparency builds trust. So as much as I could do that, that's what I would continue to tell myself to be in all things at all times.
Yes. Devondra.
Yes, mine is similar to Jaquin's. Just staying true to who you are. And I would also tell myself to trust yourself because it will all make sense later. Like Jaquin stated, in my earlier career, I may have not had the confidence, but now I do. And it's like, it makes sense now. So just keep trusting yourself.
Wow. I'm just blown away by this panel of young Black professionals at the Center for Creative Leadership who have shared with us about their aspect of their role in the world. Michael stated that I won't be here forever at the Center for Creative Leadership. As much as I love being here, eventually I will move off the scene. Who will come behind me? Who will, I don't want to hold them into a box. Who will exceed what no leader has done? And so, as managers and as leaders, I want to give you some advice. I want you to think about how I can help that next person. A lot of times in organizations, you hear about individuals that want to keep all of the information to themselves. Job security. What can you share with others? How can you guide someone? For individuals who are leading young professionals, who are leading Black young professionals, or who are managing them, it's all about having that conversation first, building that relationship, creating that safe environment where individuals can come to you and ask those questions. We have a couple of minutes left, I believe. We want to hear from you. What are some of the questions that you want to ask this panelist? Let me see. Michael, what is one thing you would want individuals to take from this conversation that we've had today?
One thing that I would want people to take away from this conversation is really go out and engage. Engage with the people that you work with, engage with your communities, engage just with people in your surroundings, because that's going to help you and that's going to give you more knowledge, more insight that will help propel you into whatever your next is. So no matter what it is going to help propel you into that next.
Great. Thank you. Devondra and Jaquin, what is one thing that you want individuals listening and that will listen take from this conversation?
I would say put in the extra effort to be intentionally inclusive. And I would just leave it at that.
Just leave it at that. Thanks, Devondra. Jaquin.
Communicate. I can't stress it enough. If you have a question as a manager, how to make everyone feel comfortable within your space, ask how you can do that. As a Black young professional or a young professional, ask for assistance. Just communicate all around the board.
Thank you. Thank you. We have another question that popped up, and I'll ask the volunteers in answering. What is the greatest challenge you have conquered thus far in your professional career?
I think it goes back to like what, for me, it goes back to like what Jaquin had mentioned. And it would be just getting the confidence to be who I am and being comfortable with who I am in a work setting. And
Yes.
being able to speak up for myself and, make sure that I'm heard and that I come across how I want to be, how I want to come across.
Yes. Thank you. Anyone else?
For me, it would be having the opportunity to really impact lives and give access to people who generally wouldn't have that access. So being able to open up the understanding. I love to mentor young Black males. So being able to open up their understanding to things that they may not have seen in their communities or things like that, having the opportunity to see their minds open and really grasp the understanding that I can do anything, no matter what I want to do. No matter what someone may say I can or cannot do, I can do it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Panelists, any last words before we wrap up this conversation?
Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Let us know if you want an encore. No, please.
Hilarious. I want to thank our audience. I want to thank our panelists for volunteering to be a part of this LinkedIn Live session. As I stated at the beginning of this session, we have a number of young, Black, talented professionals at the Center for Creative Leadership. This is just a representative of those individuals who volunteered to be a part of this panel and share their thoughts with us. Now, we thank you all for attending. there will be a recording, and we need you to share this conversation with your network. Do not let it stop here. Continue to drop in your comments, continue to send your questions, because we want to hear from you. Thank you again for being a part of this LinkedIn's live session with the young Black professionals at the Center for Creative Leadership. And let's end with some snaps. Thank you all.